Oh yes, take one of the red ones. We'll be using the red steak, and so take one of the red steak.
Feeling better?
Yeah.
I heard you were caught a bug on the plane.
We think that way.
No, it's like a petri dish, of course. Good.
Oh, thank you. I'm getting hard of hearing.
What?
Hard of hearing, and my sight is going, and my walking is going, and
We're using the red steak, then, so.
which is right, yeah. But anyway, I'm able to carry on. Fortunately.
Okay.
It says on it. Yeah, it's time now.
Please join me in Gasho. Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs, Naman. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our regular Sunday service. And before I go any further, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. It's a nice spring day, so I'm sure you probably have plans, or hope you have some things planned. We're going to begin with a moment of silent meditation, followed by the recitation of the name of the Buddha, or the Nembutsu. Naman ups, naman ups, naman ups, naman ups, naman ups, naman ups. And we're going to now read the our pledge, and let's see. Can I ask? I think it's at the back here. I can ask you to hand that out. And I'm also going to bring it up on the screen here, so I'll bring it up on the screen over here as well. Should come up on the screen as well. You could either read the screen or read the handout that my aunt is handing out right now. Okay. Thank you, Auntie June. Our pledge. Breaking out of my shell, I shall be careful to wear my smile and speak gentle words, just like the kind Buddha. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance, I shall be open-minded and act accordingly, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Not putting myself first, I shall share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Realizing the gift of life we have received, I shall live each day to its fullest, like the Buddha who continues to emancipate all. Namam Dos, Namam Dos, Namam Dos. Next we'll be chanting the Jusege, and in the red Satan, the Jusege is on page 54. And following the reading of the Jusege, we'll be reading the English translation on page 117. But we'll begin with the chanting of Jusege in Japanese on page 54. Namandops, 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 namandops. 조세가 이심을저도 시간만속 세우저셔가 가오무려고 의달세슈 의사이쇼빙의 세우저셔가 가시조부드노 묘셔저지모 극엽이셔모 세우저셔가 이욕진셔네 조에시방여 시금을저도 이쇼대니시 진리기에 나이고 의쇼무사이도 쇼조상금요 고사이슈야근남 가이지에게 메시고모한 해석을 쇼와그노 스다드센슈모 고서저만석 이여러지모 니지가드슈주기 댕거무게 이슈가요서 고세그덕어 조다이슈주 세보시시그 그여이사이버스 그속으슈덕어 간내시드조마 도그이상하여 녀부드무게지 스다드미우쇼 강가그에리 도시사이쇼서 시간야고가 다이생오간도 고그쇼데니 도지묘게 Please join me as we chant this in English on page 117 of your Red Satan, verses reaffirming the vows. Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs. I have made unrivaled vows and will reach the highest path. If I fail in any way, may I not attain Buddhahood. Should I not provide to all to come, aid in times of suffering. May I not attain Buddhahood, I will reach enlightenment, but unless my Buddha name resounds throughout the universe, may I not attain Buddhahood. I will practice a noble path, wisely, mindfully, free of greed, seek to reach a supreme way, be a guide to one and all. May my power shine great light to illumine and dispel the darkness of the three poisons and save all from suffering. With eyes of wisdom I'll remove the darkness of ignorance. I will close all evil paths, open gates of highest good. When I attain Buddhahood, light will shine throughout all lands, light brighter than sun and moon, outshining all heavenly lights, giving my virtues to all, not forsaking anyone. I will proclaim the Dharma like the roar of a great lion, bowing before all Buddhas, steadfastly gaining virtues, with wisdom fulfilling my vows. I shall be a guide to all, like the wisdom of my teacher. May my wisdom also shine all throughout the universe and illumine one and all. If I shall fulfill these vows, may all lands tremble with joy. From the heavens one Nama Namu Nama Namu Nama Namu Nama Namu. The virtue of Amida's vow is shared equally by all, together attaining awakened mind. We are born in the land of peace. Namandaps, 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 namandaps. Okay. So once again, good morning, everyone, and again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. I wanted to share with you this morning experience I had this past week. So my wife and I we went to see Yo-Yo Ma. You know Yo-Yo Ma, the celloist, very famous cellist. So she had found, I didn't know that he was coming to town, but she found it somewhere on Facebook or something, so she got tickets way back when. And so we went to see, and the concert was supposed to be from 7:30, so we arrived at, it was at the Orpheum Theater, that's where the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra plays. And so we arrived there around 7 o'clock, and we got to our seats, and we were both quite surprised because it wasn't what we were expecting. So we sat down, and there's Yo-Yo Ma. He's right in the middle of the stage by himself, just by himself. And he's answering, taking questions and answering. And so there were about 6 mics set up throughout the theater, and people were lined up at these mics to ask him questions. And he's dressed very casually, and he's just sitting there by himself in the middle of the stage. And, you know, so my wife and I are looking at each other thinking, boy, he sure is relaxed for, you know, just before a performance. You would think he'd be back in his, you know, dressing room or whatever, preparing for the concert. But he's sitting there and he's answering all these questions. And so anyways, the time goes by and it's like getting close to 7:30 and he's still just sitting there, right? And we're thinking, this is kind of unusual. And then 7:30 comes by, and one of his managers comes out from the side of the stage bringing his cello and gives it to him. There's nobody else on the stage, right? There's a large screen behind the backdrop, but that's about it. So then he begins, and it turned out to be an intimate evening with Yo-Yo Ma, just himself. And he started talking about his life. And, you know, he started off by saying, as a very young child, he called his parents the tiger mom and the tiger father, and that he often felt very lonely because he was always practicing his cello. And then he said it wasn't until he made a friend. And then he said he wanted to introduce his friend, and that's when he played about 4 selections from Bach that, you know, he had learned as a child. And then afterwards he said, well, he learned all these pieces at the age of 4, right? Which is kind of surprising. But anyways, so the evening went on like that, where he would talk a little bit, introduce things about his life and his philosophy, and then he would play. the cello. So it was half sort of cello, half talking. And so it was, as I said, it was something that, normally when you hear Yo-Yo Ma's coming for a concert, you think of him with, the symphony or something like that, right? As the special guest of the symphony. But this was completely something different and surprising, unexpected, but very pleasant at the same time. But, at the end, so he went through his life and his philosophies. And then one of the very last things that he did, which was fascinating, he talked about that he had a friend who was an astrophysicist who worked on the Hubble telescope. And this friend, he said, was also a master pianist. And so what he ended up doing, on the large screen, he showed some images from the Hubble telescope. You've heard of the Hubble telescope? That's the new telescope that we sometimes see on TV, images of the universe and how they can see pictures now of very, very remote, distant areas of the universe. So he had these slides come up on the large screen and pre-recorded his friend, the pianist, played piano, and then Yo-Yo Ma would accompany that with the cello, right? And before he showed this, he was talking about how in our daily lives, we have a tendency of seeing only the little picture. And we have a tendency of categorizing things in life, where, you would say music is over here, science is here, and maybe even religion is over in another category. But he said, when you begin to see the larger picture, you begin to see that all these things are expressions of the truth, and that music is also an expression of the truth. So as he was showing this and, trying to expand our minds as we're watching this, it was quite an interesting thing. And it brought to mind, to me, the passage, and I shared this passage before. It was I'll read the passage first of all. I was like a boy playing on the seashore and diverting myself now and then, finding a smoother pebble or a prettier shell than ordinary, whilst the great ocean of truth lay all undiscovered before me. This was Sir Isaac Newton's passage, right? I was like a boy playing on the seashore and diverting myself now and then, finding a smoother pebble or a prettier shell than ordinary, whilst the great ocean of truth lay all undiscovered before me. I was kind of thinking of this passage as we listen to this. So often in life, we're caught up in our daily chores or seeing only what's right in front of us, and we don't realize the vastness of the universe that we're in. And I think Sir Isaac Newton expressed this very well in this passage. But at the same time, it also reminded me of the life of Shinran Shoni. So Shinran Shoni, next week we'll be holding our Gotae service, service to celebrate the birth of Shinran Shoni. But the founder of Jodo Shinshu, Shinran Shoni, he was born in 1173. And it was said that he entered the monastery at the age of 9, very young age. But he went up to a place called Mount Hiei, and he became a Tendai monk. And he actually practiced for 20 years as a Tendai monk. But despite practicing diligently for 20 years, the more he practiced, the more he felt he was further away from enlightenment. And as I was thinking of this, I realized, it's very probably Shinran Shoni in his own practices, he was getting to the point where he was seeing only the things that he was doing in his daily life. So seeing the trees and not the forest, right? He's just only seeing what was in front of him. And I think that became very discouraging for him. And that's when he finally left the mountain. And that's when he encountered this Nembutsu teaching, which really opened up the universe for him, realizing that, you know, as he is, he didn't have to worry about the smaller details than the daily life. But there is something that's much greater that encompasses all our lives. And that was this teaching of Amida Buddha. And it is sort of like opening up to the universe and realizing that, you know, when we look out at the universe, from our perspective, it's very easy to say, oh, look at the stars out there. But then when you see like these images from the Hubble telescope, you realize it's not out there, but we're actually in the universe. You know, we're cradled in the universe. And so it becomes a totally different mindset. And I believe Shinran Shonin found this when he was opened up to the Nembutsu teachings, that the teachings aren't out there. They're not something apart from us, but they are sustaining us. They are running through me. And so when he came to that realization or that awakening, I think that liberated Shinran Shonin from his focusing on only that which was in front of him, into realizing something much, much greater. And so as we listen to the Dharma, we try to expand our minds and realize, yes, I am within this embrace. And so in gratitude to that, we recite the name of the Buddha or the Nembutsu. So at this time again, if I can ask you, please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Okay, and then we'll close our service with the singing of Ondok-san. For those who are able to, please rise, and I'll bring it up on the screen. Share it with the people at home. It is in the red Seitan at the back, I think. I can't remember what page it is. Okay, and then we'll sing this. Please be seated. So this will conclude our regular Sunday service. Thank you all for joining in. For those of you who are interested, this coming Wednesday, we will actually be having our movie night, and we're going to be showing the movie Bushi no Ichibun, which is one of the three. It's a part of a trilogy of samurai movies that was directed by a very famous director, Yoji Yamada. And it stars sort of a Japanese idol, well, not anymore, I guess, Takuya Kimura, who was part of a group called SMAP. They were very popular like 10 years ago, I guess. But they're now in more retiring from that boy band age. But anyways, this was Takuya Kimura was still at the height of his popularity. It's a very, very well-made movie, and I highly recommend it. So if you're available, this Wednesday night, we'll be showing that. And I believe the English title is Love and Honor, but in Japanese it's Bushi no Ichibun. And then next week, as I mentioned, is our Goten service. And then we have one more regular service, and then we get into June. And first Sunday will be Shotsuki service, and then the next following weekend we'll have our Doors Open Richmond. So there are events going around throughout the weekend. Saturday at 11 a.m. the Fujinkai, I asked you before, but the pastry demonstration, and it's actually online as well. The schedule is online, not your demonstration, but the schedule is online. Okay, so hopefully we'll see some people coming for that. Doors open. Okay, so enjoy the rest of your Mother's Day, and thank you for coming in. Thank you for those who joined by Zoom as well. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Sensei.
Thank you, Sensei.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sensei.